There's a video going a bit viral right now. It's of the CEO of a vegan socialist meat company arguing to their employees why they should not form a union. Now, obviously, this is an alternative to meat. It's not actually meat, of course. In the video, Walensky repeatedly urges workers to vote no to actually stop a union from forming inside his company, even though he himself professes to be a socialist. He says that actually creating a union would get in the way of the company's ability to save lives and change the world.
So I'm here today to tell you what I believe. And I sincerely believe that right now, a union would be a terrible thing for you and for No Evil Foods. Being tied to a legal contract and being restricted in how we innovate and change is not something we want for No Evil Foods. I believe.
Now, these are obviously some very strong words, but for a little bit more information, the CEO said that joining the United Food and Commercial Workers Union was akin to hitching your wagon to a huge organization with a high-paid executives and a history of scandal and supporting slaughterhouses. Now, that's a partial truth, and I can say that because I actually was a member of the UFCW when I was a security guard. So I actually was in that union. I was in a different chapter, of course, but I actually was in that actual union. So I did see some of the stuff that they were actually talking about. However, what's important here and what the media is doing, and I'm going to single out one particular media outlet here, and that's RT, the actual source for this story, screaming hypocrisy, and that's it. That's all this journalist did, was scream hypocrisy. There was no analysis whatsoever. Now, it should be obvious that you can't live as a communist in capitalism. I believe that was Marx who said that. Now, the reason why they did this is actually something that I have been trying to put forward to first world people for some time. You don't change the system with reforms. The system changes you. Even if you build a worker co-op or something like that in capitalism, I'm not against people doing that. By all means, go ahead, because it's not really going to do anything, because you're still made subject to the laws of capital. No matter how much good intention you have, no matter how good your planning is, you're still operating inside of capitalism and are made subject to the laws of capital accumulation. You can put a nice happy face on capitalism, and it sure as hell better to, in a sense, exploit yourself than be exploited by others. Of course, that's always beneficial. But the thing here that RT was leaving out, that I'm sure the rest of the bourgeois media is doing, is the fact that they have to do this to remain competitive. And that's really the point here. And this is also probably especially true for something like vegan meat alternatives, which don't have the market power that the regular meat industry has. They have to remain even more competitive in order to be able to survive. In fact, expecting them to be able to be a fully unionized, up and down, completely great union is frankly impossible. It actually would destroy the company. And that's kind of the point here. You can't reform the system into something good. You have to tear the system down and build a new one. But that's the part that the bourgeois media is not telling you in this situation. They're just screaming hypocrisy. Oh, look, the socialists, they want their unions, but then when it comes to their term, they won't do it, so therefore we should never have unions or listen to anything socialists ever say. I mean, the propaganda here is fairly obvious once you understand, actual revolutionary theory. It's very clear to see what's happening here. So I don't really blame this guy for wanting to stop a union, which, by the way, his speech was actually significant enough to actually stop the union from being formed. But I just wanted to make the point so that you understand that when you see this in the mainstream media, what they're trying to do and what's really happening. And also to drive home the point, you can't change capitalism. Capitalism is a system itself with a certain set of laws, with capital ebbs and flows and its own, laws of accumulation. You can't change them. You have to change the entire system in general. You cannot put a happy face on capitalism. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.